Good afternoon, or good day, or good morning, where you are. My name is Ronald Windwaai. I'm the ICT officer for the SADC Parliamentary Forum. This is just a brief synopsis of our digital transformation journey that we undertook at the SADC Parliamentary Forum. But before I say that, I need to give you a brief synopsis on the SADC Parliamentary Forum itself. SADC Parliamentary Forum was established in 1996. In 97, the SADC approved, that's the SADC Secretariat, the SADC Summit, approved the establishment of the SADC Parliamentary Forum as an institution of SADC in accordance with Article 9(2) of the SADC Treaty. Currently, SADC PF comprises of 15 member parliaments, and by extension, we represent over 3,000 member parliaments, members of parliament. We have, in our forum, we have 15 presiding officers, plus 5 members of parliament per parliament, with emphasis on gender and political inclusion. Our main stakeholders are the parliaments, parliamentarians, staff, partners, and citizens by extension. In 2014, all along we've been operating as a forum of parliaments in SADC, but in 2014 we started operating like a parliament. We are still not a parliament yet. We are still busy with that process. We are still in the process of being changed into a parliament through the process of SADC itself. The SADC PF comprises of the plenary assembly at the top, with the EXCO and its subcommittees reporting to the plenary, the standing committees just below that, and then the secretariat, that's where my office is. When we looked at this, when we started this endeavor of our digital transformation, we sought input from members of parliament. The requests that we were getting from most of our members of parliament SADC were that they needed to have tools of the trade, basically, because we had moved into a virtual means of operation. So they asked that we capacitate them, alleviate the issues such as lack of tools for them to trade. Apologies for that. They sought to be assisted with data as well, so that they can access this virtual means that we have started to incorporate. They requested that we improve the visibility of SADC PF as an institution, and they requested that we ease their access of SADC PF documentation during meetings. The demands that we received from the SADC, what we have is we have the SADC PF itself with the secretariat, but then by extension we have got parliamentary staff that are housed in each of our represented parliaments. And these staff members were, because of their interaction and the way they work with their parliamentarians, they requested that we assist them with data, we assist them with accessing to our meeting documents, improved scheduling. Basically, what this borne out from was where the way we are presenting or scheduling our meetings before would be, we would just sit in our own little corners, send through requests for meetings, and then on the other end they would just receive. But now they wanted to have a more of a input into how we arrange our meetings. So what we did, we created a subcommittee that talked to that developed what we call a master work plan. The master work plan talks to, for instance, to what meetings we have. So the committee sits at the beginning of the year, and then they hone out which meetings we are going to have throughout the year. And so this master work plan is not written on stone. So throughout the year we go through the master work plan and see what is it that we can add or can amend. So this master work plan is publicly accessible on our website as well. The challenges that we were able to solve as a result of this digital transformation was the appetite. We noted that the appetite for new tools has increased considerably. Most of our stakeholders are looking at the institution for new innovations. SADC PF has become more visible. Our meetings are all live streamed now. Engagement on social media networks has increased considerably. This has led to more visitors to our websites, and portals. we are not the same institution as we were 3 years ago now. We are more security conscious. We can work remotely. This was a pain before. This has resulted in less resources needed for our meetings. We are paperless in most of our meetings. We have a policy on paperless meetings now, that most of our meetings, there's no papers that are allowed in our meetings anymore. So the accomplishments in the legislative process, we have been able to hold all our statutory meetings. At the height of COVID, when most of our institutions opted to shut down, we were able to hold all our statutory meetings virtually. When countries started to ease with their restrictions, we started incorporating hybrid sessions, which has become a policy for most of our meetings. So all our meetings are now hybrid in a sense. All our meetings are paperless meetings. This is a direct result of digital transformation that we've undertaken. This has resulted in the cost of our meetings being reduced quite considerably, as printing cost was one of our highest budget items in our meetings. This is quite an achievement when you consider the environment that we are working in right now. We have been able to increase the visibility of our meetings. All our meetings are live streams on YouTube. Our major meetings, such as the plenary assembly and standing committees, are live broadcast on our digital terrestrial. We have what we call the DSTV digital terrestrial, which is across SADC and the rest of Africa. So we are able to live stream most of our broadcast, most of our major meetings via these means. SADC staff have become, we have incorporated a policy of being able to work remotely now as well. We are not constrained by locations or resources as much anymore. For our internal administrative processes, what we've been able to do is, as I said, we are able to work remotely now with most of our infrastructure, which was a pain, has been moved to cloud infrastructure now. For instance, our emails, which we used to be a pain point that we had here at the SADC Parliamentary Forum, when it was being housed internally, has been moved onto the cloud infrastructure. This, with our file management system, has been made to be centralized in the sense that we are, instead of having all these files located in all their respective locations, we've moved them and set them into one central location for easy access for our users and for our members as well. We've started utilizing of business communication tools such as Zoom and Microsoft Teams. This is so with regard to open data policy or open data, we do not necessarily have what we call an open data policy. The SADC Parliamentary Forum, although the SADC Parliamentary Forum is an open institution, all our documents are publicly accessible. Our documents can be downloaded and viewed from our website. We have all the verbatim reports, committee reports, order papers, and model laws since we started operating like a parliament. This has been an achievement that we have tried to pat ourselves on our backs. This has always been a pain point because you'd have situations where people will be requesting for documents, and these documents are either offline or even worse, are printed in a sense. Now we have digitalized most of our documents and can be accessed on our portals and when we have our meetings or on our websites as well. With regard to the legislative processes, all our meetings should be we've made it a mandate that we incorporate what we call a hybrid meeting policy. All our meetings should be available to attend for all our member parliaments, physically if possible, or via virtual means. So this is what we've moved to. Our meetings can be accessed and viewed from YouTube, or for general public, from the general public perspective, they view it via YouTube and Facebook. But they can comment on our meetings as they may. We incorporate some of these comments that we receive into our meetings as we continue. With regard to this query, mine is to say that yes, indeed, we agree that we should really update our internal rules and to allow Europe's digital transformation strategy. we have done this before. For example, the standing rules which we had before was amended to provide for a virtual and hybrid plenary session and committee sessions. With digital transformation on course to mitigate and alleviate our business processes problems, we are experiencing a lot more cybersecurity concerns. The vectors to watch out for are increasing by a large number. Now we have to consider phishing attacks, cloud attacks, outdated softwares and hardwares, data breaches due to remote work is alleviated or is put a lot more work on our system administrators at SADC Parliamentary Forum. Now, of course, we have to consider wherever the users is accessing our infrastructure, because now we have, because of the way of our work, we have incorporated with the VPNs of this world, remote accessing. So these are different vectors that we have to watch out for when considering cybersecurity as well. These are mainly the biggest concerns that we have here at the SADC Parliamentary Forum. Human resources, we are a team of 3, myself as the ICT officer and 2 interns that assist with the infrastructure here. That is human resources and funding is a pain points that we have with regard to incorporate or implementing digital transformation here at the SADC Parliamentary. We do provide assistance when it comes to members of parliaments that when they access our meetings. What we have done, or we've incorporated, created committees, an ICT committee that is tasked with alleviating some of the pain points that members of parliament have when they access our infrastructure. So what we did was we created a ICT committee, subcommittee that is constituted of all the ICT professionals in the region. These guys sit and assist us when we have meetings or when members of parliament are connecting with our infrastructure. So this has been, as a result of this, most of those pain points have been alleviated as well. The lessons that we have learned are that the ICT department should continuously find innovative ways for the institution to continue to leverage ICT in the conduct of the parliamentary business. The future of legislative power lies in the digitization of legislative process, as this will ensure that Parliament is able to gather the views of the public and pass laws that make it into account for the needs of the public. I hope I've not been able to take too much of your time for this on this Friday. Thank you very much, guys.